she might have been like an incredible, I don't know because she didn't become president. But I'm telling you, just the emotional perception of her, it doesn't feel like there would be the change that people need.
She felt like status quo.
Exactly. And I think that that's what people are rejecting.
I love her.
Every time I turn around, Andrew Schulz is doing a new interview with somebody. I don't know what's going on. Andrew Schulz has been everywhere. But look, I'm not mad, right? Because like he's kind of being boosted a little bit on YouTube. So this is the second Andrew Schulz interview. And we're doing this kind of on the fly. So right now it looks like they're discussing Hillary. One thing about Hillary sent people to Donald Trump. Even if he didn't win the popular vote, I know people personally around that time in my life, it was like, I will not vote for that girl. And I remember when Trump sunned her in the debate, and I was like, oh shoot, this guy sounds good. And I was gonna vote for him then, but they told me we had to vote out racism. So then I threw up in my mouth and voted for Hillary Clinton, and I said, I'll never let that happen again. You will not get my emotions when it comes to big decisions, and here we are today. Let's check this out together, guys. Let's see how this interview goes.
Love her.
I do too.
You love her.
I think she is the most competent person that probably could have ever had that job. She was an incredible Secretary of State. She's been in every angle of this system, and she's incredibly smart, and she has handled one of the most hard-to-handle human beings imaginable.
Bill?
Yes.
Is he okay, let me see how Andrew answers, or what kind of comeback he comes to this, because, I think I might have found, the most woke cucked guy. Who's Dax Shepard? This guy is a mess. Okay, all right. Let's just go back into it. By the way, guys, please don't forget the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to everybody who's watching.
As a husband?
I think you're infantilizing Bill a bit.
Say more.
She's handled him? You mean the fucking president? The guy who was able to do it?
The guy who was
one of the greatest communicators in history?
The guy who was uber charismatic.
Unbelievable.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
And she could work with that system and still exist and be equal. And that's a skill set.
That is a skill set.
Yeah,
it's not that easy to do.
I don't know. Again, I don't know.
I think a lot of women would have gotten run over by a guy like Bill. And that did not happen to her. She's an incredibly strong, determined, smart.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she's not intelligent or determined. Obviously, she's very ambitious, 100%.
You're just saying she turned people off.
Yeah, and I think it's important, if we don't acknowledge that, then...
No, she did, obviously. I mean...
Okay, before we get back to this uber woke, I guess they'd be like, woke is dead. Clearly it isn't. But I mean, I guess, policies. Okay, what did I just listen to? Oh, the way she was able to handle Bill Clinton. Okay, guys, stop. First of all, for him to say, this is what I don't understand. Woke itself is a class. It's a category. It is the radical woke left. This was a very radical statement to make, considering the fact that Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State when we went in and killed Muammar Gaddafi for allegedly it wasn't us, it was our proxy governments. We came, we saw, he died. Does anybody remember that? Why were we getting involved in Libyan slave trade, 7 countries? Where are the liberals at? Because I learned this stuff from the classic liberals, from people like Dave Smith, but he's my age, so I can't say that he's really classic liberal, but watching the General Wesley Clark videos and all of that, she was a part of that. That's number one. Number two, this notion of she had a heart, because her face is kind of I'm sorry, I know how that sounds, but I don't want to stay stuck on her. The notion of saying that, oh, she handled a hard to deal with guy like Bill. I'm sorry. I think that she was the battle. What is it called? The battle axe or something like that? The ball and chain? I'm sorry. That's what she was. That's why he was able to fall for that honeypot spy, Monica Lewinsky. Please, that was just too easy to do. Come on. Have y'all ever listened to Hillary talk? As a female, I can tell you that I could, if I was a man, I could not have dealt with that. There would have been so many honeypots. I would have been able to be honeypotted by everybody because that girl is what? Okay, so let's get back to it.
Line is positioned in this way and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I either have to accept that I will have what I say kind of manipulated to fit a narrative and people will think a certain way about me. And that's what I take and I get in bed with. so that I can do comedy the way that I want to do it. Not to make it about me, but I'm just,
You're our guest.
I'm just giving an example of like, I have to live with that. And for me, I think the best version of America is when we have like two really awesome, competent people running that it's a really difficult choice. I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
But in order for us to do it, both sides have to listen to what the American people actually want. And we need a process that like lets those people flourish.
Okay. Can we?
Sorry, I have one more question.
Go.
Last political thing.
No, it's not. It's not.
Are we in a
political.
rush? I don't know how long you guys go.
But there's other things I want to get to other than your political leanings.
So this is more fun.
Yeah. It is fun, right?
Yes.
Because we're passionate about it. Like, I think it's important for you to hear like a perspective like mine because it forms your opinions more. You're like, oh, wow, they don't see it like that. Like, I love having conversations with people that I might disagree on something.
Yeah.
Because my opinions get sharper.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, I'm hitting this too bluntly and I'm ostracizing all these people.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just a little too, for me, it's like, it's a little too, like, soyish. I'll say it. It is. I mean, he knows how to communicate with what audience he's talking to, and that's because he is a comedian. So he's very good at communication and manipulation, which is fine, right? It is a gift that some of us do have. And you just thank God for it and you use it for good. Hopefully he does. I know that's what I try to do. By the way, please again don't forget to like and subscribe button and the notification bell. But coming back to it, it's like a lot. Politics. I remember when I was a little girl and my parents would have C-SPAN on once in a while, and it would just be like these. I mean, like, let's keep it real. Like, these really old white people. And I don't normally say stuff like that. Y'all know I don't. But it was like, y'all know it was too. Like, and they would just be drumming over the, saying blah, 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 blah. But you know what election? I should have known that I would have always somehow found my way into politics. But I didn't know it was like a political commentator, So praise God. It was the election of Bill Clinton. Because you know who really got my attention was Ross Perot. How old was I even when this was happening? I probably was like 10. How long ago was that? And I don't feel like going back and looking. I was enamored by Ross Perot. I just always was like, I think it's best to be independent. Then you don't have to conform to either side expectations. I was very young. Cultivating that thought process, right? And so it's like you kind of are born a certain way. And so as time has gone on, I'm a person who can talk to people on any side and really like have a conversation and break things down. Politics today, though, fast forward to today, politics has become almost like a pop genre, and I know how that sounds. Obviously, it's serious. We need to run the government. We need to, what's going on with the foreign policies? What's going on domestically? What's going on? Who are we getting to run this? Who are all these? Where are all these different bureaucratic agencies coming from? And this, that, and the third, right? But you got to be able to go where the ball is going. There is going to be a change, and he sees it. Andrew Schulz sees it. That's why he's already on it. And I'm listening to him talk, and I'm like, is he going to try to run for president? And, like, even if it's not 2028, but, like, maybe, 4 years after that, like 2032, I could see him trying to do that because he's already running around talking to people on any side of the aisle, and he's making a culture out of politics where he can talk to people, make it funny, and make it edgy, and make it cool. That's where the ball is going. But the thing is, you still have to have information, and you need to have your values that there's certain things where you won't sway on, and that's a fact. I can talk to anybody about everything, but you know what I won't sway on? This Israel lobby. Y'all already know that's where it was going. First thing I won't sway on is being a Christian. It's always number one, okay? But the Israel lobby, yeah, like I don't want any foreign infiltration or influence. This is supposed to be a sovereign nation. I'm blessed to be born in the United States of America with a freaking First Amendment, with a Constitution that is like no other, right? So I want to defend that. So there's certain things I can't play around with. So there's times where, look, I'll chop it up with you, but I'll make it very clear while I'm chopping it up with you, you might think I'm radical. No, it's that I'm not budging on this one, because if I budge on something, there's a lot of people I'm putting at risk if I do that. Let's just see how they round this out, though.
How many abortions is too many?
In the world.
No, like for a person.
For one person.
Like how many on the punch card? Like if it goes to like 20, I think that there has to be like an intervention where it's like, all right, we got to do something here. Now
We need a new game plan.
Exactly. Now the idea is like the beginning of a joke. Making it silly is a joke.
I don't think you anticipate.
I mean, that's actually a real conversation that we really should talk about, because there are people that I do know that, anyway, not anybody close to me, but people that I've met along the years that have told me these kind of horror stories of doing that 20 times. Like, that's a bit, like, really? Like, okay. But, this conversation did take more of a personal tone after a little while. After he said that weird stuff about Hillary Clinton, Dax Shepard is just, I'm sorry, like, I can't even take how, like, weak. Sorry. Okay. Let me just keep it going.
Anticipated what Kristen heard.
What was that?
Where's the guy in this scenario? So you're
her
pissed
point
about
was really
the
good. Like,
girl
do we start-
who's
go,
had
go, go.
20? Well, guess what? 20 motherfuckers knocked her up, and they're not paying any price for it, and they're not getting shamed, and we don't have to punch their card or do anything for them.
Well,
dudes are getting off scot-free.
I would argue in that scenario,
Yeah.
it's not equivalent because it's 20 different dudes. But if it was the same
presumably,
dude, if it was one guy,
that's where I think you could have landed this whole thing.
Yes.
Is you
If one guy gets 20 girls pregnant, neuter that motherfucker. Like, we got to do something.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But this is the artistry of like a joke. And I gave you like the lump of clay. And it's
Right,
like,
yeah.
there might be something
You
in
didn't
there.
remove all the pieces to make it David.
That's up, because that's how he creates, like he's talking about how he creates his content, his jokes and stuff, and goes for the hard topic, but then is able to pull out things that he can make a little funny joke about. I'll tell you this too. I don't care if it's 20 guys or one guy getting the girl pregnant 20 times. It's just not good for you. Okay. So I know I took it a little serious, but at the end of the day, I will say that Andrew Schulz is able to talk to anybody and cultivate a good conversation with people. So shout out to him for being able to do that. At the end, like I said, at the end of the day, he looks very interesting to talk to. And the crazy thing is, this audience that I've cultivated, I'm starting to like get to know y'all. Y'all don't like Andrew Schulz, but I love Andrew. Like, I do. I like Andrew Schulz. Okay, I don't love Andrew Schulz. I don't know Andrew Schulz, right? And I know I vehemently disagree with him on a few things. And he probably would meet me. No, he would meet my profile and immediately have a bias towards me, and then get to know me, and we'd have a great conversation. I find that a lot of my so-called, they're not my enemies, they're really not, but the people who vehemently hate me and have said to me that they hate me, turn around and say, actually, they start talking to me and they can't stop talking to me. We'll put it that way. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.